Welcome back, and joining us is a special guest, Colin Shah. He's chairman at the Gems and Jewelry Export Promotion Council. Colin, hi, welcome. 10 days to budget, and the noises are going louder on what markets are anticipating this time around. When it comes to jewelry sector, I understand import duty has been a long-standing demand, but that we got in the previous budget. What are you expecting if you had to list out your top threes from this budget?
Thanks, Manisha. What we've requested the government is to help us in this journey from going to $40 to $70 billion, and keeping that in mind is making our industry as globally competitive as possible. And for that, it is, again, the long-standing demand that we've had. It is reduction in the gold duty from 7.5% to 4%, diamonds from 7.5% to 2.5%. Gemstones from 7.5% to 2.5%. We've also asked them to remove the duty on rough gemstones. And besides that, there are some clarifications which the industry is keenly awaiting for. One is that the equalization levy will not be on rough diamonds. Secondly, we are asking for this turnover tax in the special notified zones that have been established quite a few years back. Because in these times, travel is difficult, and our importers are unable to travel to Africa and Russia. So if miners are allowed to sell roughs directly in Surat and Mumbai, then that will really help in these post-pandemic times. So we've asked for this special harbor rate, safe harbor rate as it's called, for our special notified zones. And besides that, we've asked for a duty drawback rate mechanism similar to the GST. So these are all our budget proposals, and I guess another long-standing demand has been reforms of the SEZs. So a bill on SEZs we are hoping will be introduced also in the budget session, which will help take, I guess, the lead from not only our industry but the entire SEZ, 500 SEZs in the country, to the next level. So we had a whole set of reforms, 15, 20 years back for the SEZs. And the whole law will get rewritten, hopefully, and that will help us to compete with our neighbors in China, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam. So those are all our, budget expectations.
Colin, what's your sense on the GST on handcrafted jewelry, also GST credit on exports? Are you expecting a move on that?
So GST, as it will be taken up at the GST Council, and like any other export sector, we also have challenges on the input credit, especially when the changeover happened. And so we've been requesting for a reduction on GST on certified diamonds, especially, and on making of handcrafted jewelry. There's no such proposal to make it uniquely separate. But what the industry has requested for is that we should become revenue neutral, especially when it comes to exports. So if that could be done, that will really help our industry. In terms of ease of doing business and the portal and everything, it's working beautifully now. Our industry really, just like any other industry, doesn't have many challenges on that front.
Sure.
But the one long-standing demand is the input credit which has been accumulated over the years. So, and that's obviously a capital blockage, and would help our exporters would get a huge respite. Absolutely. If something could be done on that front. But that would be for the GST Council. It's not really...
Not from the budget, exactly. Colin, one more thing. This is about the, the gold exchange and the gold, international gold exchange as well coming in this year, and the imports being allowed via these as well. How does that change business for you?
So this actually, believe it or not, could be a game changer not only for our industry, but even for IFSTA, as it's called in GIFT City. And see, we have this opportunity now of becoming the premier gold exchange. The Shanghai exchange took some business away from London. But now with Brexit happening and, this anti-China sentiment that we're seeing, we have this opportunity of moving not only the business for India, but a lot of global business to our GIFT City exchange. But with the new rules being notified, where any jeweler who has a net worth of 25 crores and has filed returns, under our the chapter in which you are transacting in gems and jewelry, he will be allowed to buy gold or trade in gold on the exchange. So this will, as you know, Manisha, in all these years in India, traditionally, you're only allowed to buy gold through nominated agencies.
Right.
Now, any jeweler being allowed to buy gold directly on the exchange is going to just open up, I guess, all kinds of avenues for our industry.
Sure.
And, after I would say, the abolition of the Gold Control Act, this would be like the next big, step for our trade in terms of transparency, in terms of being globally competitive, in terms of getting all kinds of new lease rates. So this will help our industry, and I think it's great for the country also, because we have this opportunity of really becoming one of the premier exchanges in the world. So it'll be fantastic from that side.
All right, Colin, Manisha, thanks a lot for joining in. After so much gems and jewelry, we'll probably talk about all of that in just a bit. We take a short break. On the other side, we come back, focus on the markets. In fact, the biggest of them all, Reliance Industries, is set to report its third quarter numbers later today. We'll get you more on that when we return.